Welcome to In the Spotlight, a marketer's toolkit special where we highlight members of the toolkit, what they're doing in their SaaS, how they're using the toolkit. You're going to get an inside look at the back end of the marketer's toolkit and at the same time get some maybe great ideas for your business as well. If you're on the fence of joining the marketer's toolkit, or you're in there and want to see more features, or you're just someone out there that are looking for ideas for your business, you are in the right spot. My name is Virginia Scheuer and I'm your host. I've got Allan Simmons on the books to do an interview with us at the Marketer's Toolkit. And let me tell you, I'm so excited about his interview, and I'm going to tell you why. The reason is because when we did an optimization call, and by the way, you can get an optimization call too, if you are in the Marketer's Toolkit and you want to know how to do more things in the system. The Marketer's Toolkit provides so many tools to help you with your CRM that you've got to check out what is missing. So if you want to book that call, I'll put that in the show notes here. But anyway, I had a great Marketer's Toolkit optimization call with Allan. And Allan, I found out what Allan does. Allan created his own app for carpet and rug cleaning businesses a long time ago, even before apps and the internet, apparently, which he'll tell you more about, I'm sure. And then he was introduced to HighLevel, and so he urged that into his own system, which I think it was totally brilliant. And then on top of that, he was able to create, when a carpet cleaner or a rug cleaner is out and about and actually in their van, they don't have to step a foot into the HighLevel back office. Does everything from forms and clicks of a button thanks to the Marketer's Toolkit. So I'm excited for you to listen to him during this podcast episode, because he's going to tell you all of his secrets and all of the ways that he is using the Marketer's Toolkit to enhance his application. So let's get started. Hi, Allan. Welcome to In the Spotlight. I'm really excited to highlight you and your business.
Hi, Virginia. Great to be invited to do this. It's an honor. Thank you.
Awesome. So what's one thing you're most proud of right now in your business, and the way that you're using the Marketer's Toolkit with that?
I think the thing that I'm most proud of is I've been selling software to guys for many, many years, and it's humbling the trust that those guys have had as I've transitioned over from an Infusionsoft platform integration to a HighLevel platform integration, and those guys have trusted me to move their businesses over to the HighLevel platform as well. And the Marketer's Toolkit's really sort of helped me ease that over as well. So yeah, that's the thing I'm probably most proud of.
So how did you make that happen? Can you tell us a little bit about your business and how you integrate the toolkit into that?
Yeah, so I come from a carpet cleaner background. I am a carpet cleaner. The crazy thing was, long story short, I was doing A-levels, looking to go to university and work with computers. In the meantime, while I was waiting for results, I started carpet cleaning. I realized I could probably earn more money carpet cleaning than going to university. So we started a carpet cleaning business, and I realized that I needed to systemize this, and computers were very new at the time, and I knew we could systemize it. So we started developing our own system to run our carpet cleaning business. So that's how we got into the software side as well, to develop into our business.
And you said that you first used Infusionsoft for that, and then you moved over to HighLevel?
Yeah, so I developed my own software. It's called GetBookedUp. We now sell and license that to all the carpet cleaners. But I built that's an offline PC-based system, and this is before the internet was even dreamt about. And then the online systems came along, and I'd already built a lot of that automation into my offline system. As systems like Infusionsoft came along, I started looking at them. I looked at ActiveCampaign, many systems, and I built an integration into Infusionsoft. And many of my users followed me on that integration, and I started selling Infusionsoft and the integration into it through a partner. And then about 3 years ago, I got really frustrated with the fact that Infusionsoft wasn't going anywhere, and started looking around, and I found the HighLevel platform. And the HighLevel platform at the time looked a little bit clunky compared. Being a developer and sort of being able to say, oh, I want a button there that does this, it was a little bit frustrating not finding that. And then when I started looking around, well, I found the Marketer's Toolkit, and that allowed me to start being almost a developer within the HighLevel platform and customizing it to make it more usable for myself, my office staff, and other users.
Awesome. Awesome. And what way did you make it easier for them?
In terms of, well, the way the marketer's toolkit impacted it was exactly those type of things. I wanted a specific process and sequence of actions to happen and automations to work, but I didn't want to have to go and find where I would set a tag within the system. And I was just sort of, wouldn't it be great if we could just have a button that the guys just have to click and it says on there? I mean, the probably the most useful tool that we've created is a button that we call request photos. So we use a feature within the marketer's toolkit that allows you to toggle on and off the text on the button. So one of the things that we frequently request while we're on a conversation with a client in the contact record is we need photographs. So I've created a button where we can just click request photographs. It drops down and there's an option for the type of request that we can make. Now, when we make that request, that automatically sends everything to the contact while we're actually with them. And they get a WhatsApp message, an email, and they can reply back to that with pictures. And if you try and send that request again, when you go into that button, it's telling you that you've already sent it and it's prompting you as to what you need to do next with it. So it's those sort of things that native within the HighLevel platform would be a nightmare to do and you'd need to know where to look. Whereas we've been able to customize those buttons and the folders on the buttons to make very specific features on buttons. And the biggest feedback we get from people that have tried HighLevel either directly or have come from another agency to us in our industry is that they love the custom functionality of those buttons. Just being able to request photographs or trigger the review sequence based on the services that they've had, because again, it's a drop-down button that has a list of the services they've had and it just does it from there and triggers the other automations in the background.
So you're saying that you've created something where, and I remember you saying this, something about some of your clients don't even look at the back end of HighLevel. They are only looking at the page with the buttons and it automates everything they need for the non-techie user per se.
Yeah. That's it, yeah. So when you look in the back end of HighLevel, if you're non-techie, it looks a little bit scary. So if you've got a new inquiry and you have to click add new contact and work through all the elements and the fields, knowing which fields you need when you're taking a customer inquiry is very difficult to make streamlined. So I've been aware of link trees for a long time, which is just effectively a web portal that has buttons on that takes you to pages. So I've created a what I call a business system portal where a user can sit in his van between jobs, log into his laptop, just log onto his systems portal and press a button that then opens the correct element of HighLevel that's needed, or actually opens a form. And again, this comes down to some of the custom buttons that's in the marketer's toolkit. We can actually open a form virtually anywhere we want, complete that in an iframe window, close that, and that it just captures all the information we want. So if we take a rug inquiry, we can press the rug inquiry button, the form opens, we ask all the questions that we need to, and that just populates all the fields in the background without having to go and scroll up and down those fields on the left-hand side on a contact record. Sort of things that have made it no nonsense. You ask this question, you ask this question, you ask this question, just fill in this box. This is mandatory. Do we need pictures from this client? Yes, no, and that'll automate the photo request sequence in the background.
For the non-techie clients that you have, what is their favorite feature in all of it?
It is that very simple new client inquiry or an existing client inquiry where they can just update contact details without having to go into the back end of HighLevel. They can just open their web form, they can click the button that takes them to the relevant form, fill the details in, click submit, it fills it into the back end of GetBookedUp. So it's all those it's a combination of all those that mean they don't have to actually log into HighLevel.
That is awesome. And how is this for what your technicians usually deal with? Is this something that already exists, or is this something kind of new for them to work with in your industry?
There's other industry-specific software out there, but it doesn't have all the integrations that HighLevel has. So there's other tools that we'll not talk about, but I've looked at using those, but they don't have the integrations. And the other thing that was appealing about when I'd seen HighLevel and particularly Tom's toolkit is that I can add an element of customization in that, for want of a better word, scratches my own itches in my own carpet cleaning business. So instead of having to forced to use somebody else's software in a particular way, I was able to customize it for me and then obviously offer that as a benefit to other subscribers to my software, my SaaS offering. So it was the fact that it is different. It is the connectivity of HighLevel with the marketer's toolkit making the forms even down to the opportunities. So some of our guys, so I have a rug plant as well, and every rug that comes in is logged onto the rug dashboard, a pipeline, an opportunity pipeline. And the Marketer's Toolkit allows me to put some of those forms within the opportunity. So the guys can open the opportunity, the rug may be in the it needs a specialist treatment stage. So the guys can open it, see what specialist treatment's needed, make notes, but then they can open a form and update the specific parts of that have been done for that treatment and close that all within the opportunity. So again, that's a very simple interface instead of having to go into the contact record and find all those individual bits. So they're loving the fact that I often work with a lot of the users that we have and customize the software for them. So if they come up with a great feature, I think, I could use that in my business. So I'll build that into you and all of our users benefit.
That's so great. If you were to see another niche serve like yours, what advice would you give them when they're first starting out to create something like you've created?
To create an agency product to sell into that niche, I'd say there's in any industry, in our industry, there's different operating models. So there's sort of man and van. He's doing virtually everything. There's a guy that has probably one or two technicians, and then there's guys that have multiple vans and offices, and they all have different itches that need scratching. So make sure you find out and identify what market they are in, what model they work, and find out, just ask good questions, the classic who, what, where, when, why questions. What's your biggest problems, etc. Listen to them. Don't try and drown them out with every feature that you've got. Listen to the 2 or 3 core issues that they have and then show them features. So I'd say just think about meet your client where they're at rather than selling them what you've got.
Absolutely. I love that. And can you describe the different snapshots that you have and how you've separated those?
Yeah, so the snapshot that I have is for that man and van. So most of that is based around making sure that the last thing a guy that's busy out cleaning carpets and upholstery needs is when his phone rings, if he misses it, he needs that missed call text back and that type of tool that's in there. When the web form's completed, what I always say is I think of GetBookedUp is what would say GetBookedUp? We give you proven automation systems that have been created by somebody that's been where you are and understands the problem that you have. So as a one-man operator, we know that it's a hassle answering your phone and it's a hassle getting back to customers that have left voicemail messages. They've often moved on to somebody else. So that one man in a van, we sell the benefits of the missed call text back. When they fill the web form in, it uses the call connect. So instead of having to get to the end of the day and deal with all the messages, hopefully they've been able to do that in the van through the web form, through the forms instead of having to log into the back end of HighLevel. So we talk about how easy it is to keep on top of all that, how easy GetBookedUp will manage all those leads, whether it's a phone call, web inquiry, Facebook lead, Google ad lead, because it's all coming through that common dashboard. In 15 minutes between jobs, you can catch up on all of that, and they've had the missed call text back. You can initiate the calls. There's all the automation happening in the background to make sure that you've got tasks when you get back to make sure that all that's done, and we'll give you your evening and weekends back. Whereas when you speak to the guys that are running an office, they want the phone calls to come through. So we actually have the web form immediately calls the office. It says there's a web form inquiry. We use the callback to try and get HighLevel to contact the client back. And then we have automations off of the back of that if we can't get through that. Because most of my guys are still using my offline software, what that also is doing is through an API that's updating their local system. So they're able to actually get the telephone call in from a web page, from a web contact form. They'll get a phone call. They can log into their offline software, upload the client data into the offline software and have the online software open, so they can get all the benefits of the immediate connectability in the background, but they've got all the very niche pricing tools that my offline system uses. So if you've got guys in an office that run multiple vans and you want to be able to book 2 or 3 vans to a particular job, my offline system still handles all that job management and quote management and proposal options far better than HighLevel. So we pitch that in as an offering.
I love how you can piece together different types of tools and bring it all together with the toolkit and HighLevel. It makes those two pieces like truly a foundation. Yes?
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. There's it seems so little, but one of the things that you can do with the custom buttons is you can actually put a JavaScript function on the button. So I've got a little button that allows us to, if you're in the HighLevel platform looking at the contact record and you need to open the offline system, we can just copy the contact ID from HighLevel and get that into the offline system and open the contact record that way. So you're not got to go searching for it, just a button and you're through to the offline system. And we couldn't do that natively in HighLevel. It's the functionality that Tom's Toolkit gives us with it behind those buttons.
So you mentioned the buttons for contacts and then the forms within opportunities. Is there another piece that the toolkit offers that you can think of that you utilize heavily? Or are those your two main? That's all you did was just use those two main tools and boom.
On the sort of user front end, they're probably the main things. On the agency side, what we love is that in that, let's say the man and van businesses, we can lock off menu items in such a way that they can see that they're there and we can tease them as to what else is there, but they're locked off and they can't get access to them. And we can do that in a very bespoke way, differently to how the options within HighLevel are. So it gives us a very granular control over what they can actually get into at the different levels of the software that we sell. And we find that has what's this do effect? Or what does that do? And they're asking, so we find a user will ask, what is that? What's in there? So the Marketer's Toolkit gives us that opportunity. What we also like is the Marketer's Toolkit. We're in the UK, so HighLevel is very American. So we can change the captions on buttons. So we tend to use the phrase diaries rather than calendars. So I can change calendars to diaries, and that type of thing. And the other one as well that works for us, for users, is I've built an API integration into the Stamp mailing platform. So the Stamp is they produce online, it's an online platform that produces printed documents, so you can do letters, postcards. So you can generate mailings, either bulk mailings or one-off mailings. And I built an API integration into that. Now, again, another feature of the toolkit that I like is I can hide those workflows, and I can hide the custom values and the elements about that are used within those workflows. So users can't look at that and sort of poach my IP away. For what I've created there. So it allows me to add additional functionality that makes my product sticky, but equally protect that IP that's in there because I can hide things with the toolkit.
Well, that's so good. That's great. So besides the toolkit and besides HighLevel, for those out there, putting their own SaaS together, is there a productivity tool that you use that is your favorite beyond those two?
I've always loved Zapier, but I was introduced to Pabbly more recently for probably the last 12 months. I've used Pabbly far more than Zapier. I just like the interface more. It plays better. They have a new interface in there as well. So I like Pabbly. That's probably it. I use personal planning tools. So any good planner that fits you. I'm ADHD, so I use a planner specifically for sort of ADHD brain thinking. So just a good planner, good task list. And then Pabbly's been, again, there's things that you can't do natively in HighLevel, but you can make the API call out to Pabbly, push it out to Pabbly. Pabbly does the work and pushes the data back in. And again, that allows us to do things that link our offline system into our online system. So some of our users have a preferred diary system that they use. And so I've built them a custom link from our system into HighLevel back out to their preferred diary system. And again, the links between those using predominantly Pabbly, because that saves me having to host it on a server for myself, and they've got complete control over it if they want to leave.
That's great. That's great. And I know us as SaaS providers, we're always tinkering and we're always building new things, right?
Always.
Can you give us a sneak of what you are building or what you're tinkering with at the moment?
My favorite tinker at the moment is my rug dashboard. So the management of rugs in and out through the rug spa. So we have a fully automated rug plant, and it checks in rugs and walks them through the whole process. So from the initial inspection, so we know what rugs where. So if a client calls in, we know where it is within the plant. We know what stage it's at. And more importantly, it automates the chase calls to get them booked back in.
That's amazing. That's so cool. Allan, it's such a pleasure speaking with you. I love what you're doing. I think that there are so many people who could run their SaaSes the way that you do and making it a lot more tech friendly or tech proof even for their industry to create things as easy as possible for the end user. And you have done that brilliantly, utilizing both HighLevel and the Marketer's Toolkit. Thank you so much for coming on, and best wishes to you and GetBookedUp.
It's an honor. Thank you.